Genetic testing is Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease affects the brain, which causes memory loss, judgment, and the ability to function properly. This disease currently affects more than 5 million Americans, and it occurs mostly in individuals at an old age. Since people are living longer, the risk of developing Alzheimer's is increasing more and more. There are two types, early or late onset. Early may occur in middle ages, while late occurs usually at 65 years of living. Early onset familial Alzheimer's disease is inherited in an autosomal dominant pattern. The inheritance pattern of late onset Alzheimer's is unknown. This form of the disorder can result from mutations in the APP, PSEN14, or PSEN2 genes. When any of these genes is altered, large amounts of a toxic protein fragment called amyloid beta peptide are produced in the brain. Other causes of early onset Alzheimer's disease may be associated with changes in different genes, some of which have not been identified. For late onset Alzheimer's, a gene called APO3 has been studied as a risk factor for this disease.
23andMe tests for the E4 variant in the APOE gene associated with an increased risk of developing late onset Alzheimer's disease. People with the E4 gene have 15 times higher risk of developing Alzheimer's than those who have the E3 gene. The normal function of this gene product is it makes protein which, when combined with fat, becomes a lipoprotein. The lipoprotein APOE is a very low-density lipoprotein responsible for removing cholesterol from the bloodstream. Variations of this gene can alter your cholesterol metabolism, which can lead to heart disease. Variations can also lead to Alzheimer's. It is expressed in the liver, brain, spleen, and kidneys. If you have this variation, you have an 11 times greater chance of getting Alzheimer's. A rare form of the APOE3, known as Christchurch mutation allele, can lead to Alzheimer's disease, but is not tested by 23andMe.
Our SNP chip test design, we will include 4 genetic variations for our test. There are 4 SNPs that impact the trait that are not tested by 23andMe. The SNPs are APP, PLD3, TREM2, and TM2D3. The genotypes of this SNP are AA, AG, and GG. The variation that is the best predictor of genetic risk for this trait is from the PLD3 gene. Those with the genotypes AA and AG have 2 times higher risk for the disease. The PLD3 gene is from the phospholipase D family, which is a group of enzymes that assist the hydrolysis of the membrane phospholipids. And the benefits of our SNP chip test for the early onset Alzheimer's from the PLD3 gene, while 23andMe only tests for the APO gene, which is only linked to the late onset for the trait. When testing for the PLD3 gene, we can test for the processing of amyloid beta precursor protein, which has been linked to Alzheimer's disease.
Testing positive for a genetic disease such as Alzheimer's can have a drastic effect on one's mental health and financial well-being. Alzheimer's disease is often referred to as the most expensive disease in America, and for good reason. The disease's long progression creates the demand for long-term care services, which can cost a fortune. If the patient and immediate family is not financially stable, it can do serious damage to their bank accounts. The emotional outcomes of testing positive for Alzheimer's are horrifying. Receiving the news that one day you could forget the names of your parents, siblings, and children can create a dive in your mental health. Having to live with that thought must not be pleasant. I imagine this is a concern for people who are thinking about being genetically tested for Alzheimer's.